Welcome back to Rise Entertainment 360. She's a certified life coach who has dedicated her career to making sure other women can live their best life. Glenda Crawl, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Of course. And now it seems like life coach is such a hot word right now. A lot of people are using it, but settle the story once and for all. What exactly is a life coach and what do they do?
It's really simple. A life coach is taking somebody from where they are right now and taking them to where they want to be. So what we just finally find out, first of all, is what is that person, what are they dreaming of doing? And it can be in their life, it can be in their career, it can be in their health. You know, it's not one set thing. And you know, with everything in our life, it's self, health, and wealth. You can't have any type of wealth, and I don't always talk about wealth as being monumental. It's got to be more of, monumentary. It's got to be more of the fact that we need to have people that just are able to enjoy their life. That to me is wealth. Yeah. So it's a category of all of that. So we help people help them focus. We help them understand where they need to be. We help give them some clarity. We help give them a plan.
So you really guide them through their life? We
guide them through, but we don't fix things. So the whole idea is we start working with them, and we become kind of like the best friend. Okay. But there's no judgment on it. So they are free and open, and they feel they're in a safe spot. And that's the most important thing. And we build their confidence, because what happens in life, and especially I tend to work with women that are older in my age category, because what happens as time goes on, they lose themselves. You know, they put all their time into their family.
To everyone else except themselves.
Exactly. And it took me a long time. I was in the same position. And it's through my own challenges that I learned to do what I do now. And that's why I personally feel that I am good at being what I am, because...
So how does someone become a life coach? Are there classes or certifications involved? Schooling?
There's lots of certifications and schooling, and what we recommend is that you need to go out there and start doing a little bit of research and feel really what connects to you. That's the most important thing.
So why did you want to take this career path?
I've seemed to always throughout my life have, I've always been an old soul, and I've always been the one that people have always come to me for advice. And I've gone through a lot of different struggles throughout my life, and I've seen what it has done, I had to recreate myself actually 5 years ago.
And why did you decide to go down this career path?
Because I needed to empower women. I needed women to be able to take control of their life and give them the confidence that I know that they have in there. And I need to bring it out.
Sometimes I think the best person to help someone who's in some trouble or going through some turmoil is someone who's actually gone through trouble themselves. So tell us your story.
Well, I've got a few stories in my life.
Okay. The big
but
one.
The big story is that I was in a relationship for 14 years and something happened. I didn't listen to that voice inside of me until something happened one day, and something said I had to start seeking and not wait till the door will open. And when I started seeking, what I found was 14 years of lies and dishonesty. And through that, I went and I started investing in products and became the best CIA agent there was in Toronto, you know, Miami, and New York.
Was there any physical abuse in that relationship, or was it all mental? Or?
It was mental abuse that went on. And I had to live through, I decided to not tell my partner at that time what I found out. So I had to live through a period of time and to get all my ducks in order before I could leave.
So you didn't just jump ship and say, I'm out of here, bye. You planned and were strategic about the way you exited the relationship.
I played a part. That's how I took it. I put myself, and that's what I teach people sometimes. You need to sometimes play a part. And I held my emotions in and played everything as if it was a normal everyday life. And until everything was totally set up before I left.
And what are some of the things you decided were important for you to set up before you left?
For instance, I made sure by the time I left, my house was sold and money was transferred out, because he was going through a lot of money through trying times, and he was involved in some illegal activities. So I needed to make sure that money that I put in before our relationship started, that I was going to be able to take it out. He was involved with people that were dangerous. And I had to make sure that myself and my kids were put in a place where we were safe. So everything had to be, we were already moved out. By the time everything was set up and ready, that everything finished, my kids and myself, we had moved into a location where we were secure.
Wow, that seems like a Lifetime story or something, a movie that should be like, we have to go to the safe house or something. Wow. So that's a lot of strategic planning. What have you learned from that situation in those 14 years that you've been able to help other women in their situations with?
So the one thing, like I always say to people, we've got this voice inside of us that guides us. It's not the voice that tells us that we shouldn't be doing something, or we're not smart enough and not pretty enough, and I'm not talking about that voice. But there's something even deeper inside. And I just sort of, I believe in the universe, and I believe in somebody is leading me and guiding me. And it was through that time though where I didn't know what I was to do next. It was like something was coming to me every step of the way, and I just followed that path, and it was crazy how every single thing I planned worked.
Wow. And you didn't have a life coach at that time.
No, it was Glenda.
You are the life coach. You were your own life coach in many ways.
Yes.
So do you have any success stories for other clients that you helped, without saying who they are, but something where they were and where they made it to after your help?
Yes, I have quite a few life stories, because it's not only that I have coached people of my age and even younger people, because today there's too much out there, and people are not able to focus on where their path is. So I have helped people from I have a dear now a friend, but it was the client. It started off, and helped him to go through his schooling, where at point he was going to drop out. Wow. And guided him through and walked him through the step of the way to continue on, and now he's graduated and working in a beautiful field. And for me it's such a blessing, and it makes my heart good, because for me it's always been about helping others. I grew up that way. Yeah. So it's really important that it's not just working, it's something that I'm giving to somebody else, and I want somebody to feel good about themselves. It's so important to have that love of yourself.
Well, how can someone find that love if they've been beat up mentally, physically, emotionally, and they felt like no one ever loved them? How can they get to that point of even having self-love?
That's what you need to learn, and that's what I teach you, because what I do is I create a relationship, and I don't just work at it. I love people, and it's about talking to people and about putting it out, and it's forming that relationship. And maybe I go a little bit above and beyond what some people do, but that's really who I am. And that's what it's all about to me. It's, I'll start with, I have my own packages and stuff where I bring people in, but I always go above and beyond, because I don't know, I've been called to do this. I've always been called to help others, and that's what makes me feel good. So I do what's in my heart.
And that's what makes you different from any other life coaches, because you really live it, you feel it, you want to have these people become successful, whatever it is they're doing.
Well, and I've struggled in my life. When somebody tells me about their pain, I can relate, because I've been through it. So it's not that I'm standing there and saying to them, I understand your pain because I've read it in a book. I can say I understand because I've lived it. I've felt that pain in so many different ways. So it's very different when you've lived that pain and you know where that person's coming from, and you know that they can get to there, but they just need somebody to hold their hand and walk them through.
And that's what you'll be doing soon for millions of people, because you actually have a book coming out that you're working on. Tell us about the book.
Oh yeah, well, my story that I just gave you a little glimpse of it. When I've been telling my story, everybody kept on saying, wow, that could be a movie. And I said, Yeah, and then everyone kept telling me about writing a book. So I decided to say, well, you know what, it's time. For nothing else, it's because what I keep hearing from people, it's so important to empower other people. When I've talked to other people, it's like something has happened to them and they just feel that they're not capable of continuing on. They're too old. They don't want to start in life. I can't do it. I am too old. I don't have the means and all the rest. And you can't say that. Like I had to redo my entire life 5 years ago. I started from scratch and recreate myself. You know, like when I moved, I had at least a place to fall, so I'm grateful. And that's one of my other things. Always have gratefulness for everything that is given to you. But I had to start searching and finding out and rebuilding myself because I was really knocked right down. So I'm not the only person. I hear it all the time, but I don't see people being able to do it. So that's what it's all about for me. It's you know what, you can do it too. And when you're, you know, if you're 50 years old, that doesn't mean that you're too old to start life again or to build a new career.
So your book will help people through that process?
My book will give them that insight of what they're capable of doing, even if they have no idea. It's an empowerment of what we all are capable of when you're put under pressure.
You've got to tell us. I'm ready to read this book now. When does it come out?
I'm hoping that it will be finished by the end of the year. So by December, it will be in with the Amazon.
All right. Yeah. Glenda Crawl, we can't wait to read that and continue the great work you're doing with helping so many people around the world with your life coach work. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Shannon. It was a pleasure.
Okay. Arise Entertainment 360. We'll be right back.